It's that time again. We're going back to the wacky world of the internet to look at some of the best animations ever made. You see, on the internet, people don't have to adhere to network standards or even try to appeal to a mass audience. So they end up being great because they're unique. These creators wanted to make something, and they made exactly the thing that they wanted to make. It's not bogged down by the thoughts of shareholders or market research. We get to see the raw creativity and talent of the creators. You couldn't have these things done anywhere else. And that's the theme we're going with today. And let's start with that one animation where everyone went crazy because I didn't include it in the last web videos review, the Backwater Gospel. Before I go any further, a lot of these animations are for mature audiences only, and this is clearly one of them. The subject matter is very dark, but before I talk about the deeper aspects, I want to talk about the surface aspects. Honestly, at first I had trouble telling if this was a 2D animation or a 3D animation. It uses 3D models with very well done backgrounds, and I kind of think that this is what 3D animation should be used for. A very stylized view that just couldn't be done with 2D, and does its best to hide the fact that it's 3D. It has an outstanding effect here. The story is about a being called the Undertaker. When he appears on the scene, someone is going to die. Enter the town of Backwater. It's a very religious town with pretty much everyone following a mixed morality preacher, except for one lone tramp. The tramp and the preacher do not get along at all. So one day, the Undertaker comes to town to interrupt the Sunday service. For 7 long days, the people of Backwater hide in the shadow of the Grim Reaper, wondering who's going to die. Their fear builds as they don't know what's going to happen. When the Undertaker comes, someone is supposed to die that same day. No one has died in 7. Sunday service comes around once again, and the people do manage to get to church. The preacher has a very clever idea to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. To get the death that the Undertaker wants, the preacher turns everyone on the tramp, ending the life of a nuisance. When this plan backfires and the tramp's death isn't the one that the Undertaker wants, the town turns on each other, and it's not pretty. Well, actually it is kind of pretty. It's probably the prettiest you can make a gruesome massacre. In the prospect of animated music videos this time around, we've got what might be my favorite of all time, Mystery Skull's animated Ghost. I'm not even bending the rules or anything on this time like I did last time with Bronte. Sorta. Basically, Mystery Ben did a music video of another one of Mystery Skull's songs. And do you know what the band did? Instead of issuing a cease and desist or a DMCA, the band hired him to make a music video for another one of their songs. And it turned out to be amazing. So amazing, in fact, the animated music video has 8 times more views than the live action version of the music video. And I can see why, since the original music video is just a parody of The Exorcist. Due to this circumstance, though, I don't know if Mystery Ben created the story and the meaning of the music video all on his own, or if the band told him the deeper meaning. Most techno songs are more focused on just sounding good rather than having a deeper meaning, or even really a shallow meaning. Either way, the music video brings meaning to it, and we get something that sounds both really good and has an interesting plotline. What you'll notice right away are the Scooby-Doo homages. This is the best way to do a homage. The original Scooby-Doo has very cheap animation and a dull color palette, while the music video is bright and fluid. Almost every second something is moving. People's heads constantly bob to the beat. Every second was painstakingly matched to the music. They don't use the homage to be lazy, as I've seen done so many times before. So many people homage or reference something else, so they feel that they don't need to write a plot, or they can get away with using the shortcomings of the original. This, however, manages to get the full feel of the original by knowing it inside and out, creating character designs that resemble the originals, and having references up the wazoo. But most importantly, they use the homage to break your expectations. This is the best way to use homage, like, ever. Despite having monsters and mysteries all over the place, the stories of Scooby-Doo are very camp and the characters aren't usually put into significant danger, though there are exceptions. The mysteries are small and usually have to do with theft. When you see Scooby-Doo homages, you're expecting a low-stakes story and how the whole thing is just some elaborate ruse by a crook. The music video knows this, as it pulls the group through a haunted mansion and has them run into a ghost. It plays on your expectation that this is going to be happy and upbeat, and it's going to have a nice happy ending, before you lose your grasp of the illusion when the actual ghost comes on stage and probably isn't a prop or a costume. Here are some Scooby-Doo jokes. But nope, surprise, there was actually a gruesome murder in the backstory all along. Not only that, but our Shaggy character did it to our Fred character because a haunted cave possessed his sense of jealousy. And to stop the cave from possessing our Shaggy character completely, our dog tore off his arm. On top of that, the story ends in tragedy. The Fred character, who is named Lewis by the way, is about to rekindle with his girlfriend Vivi, so long after being inadvertently killed by Arthur, his best friend. However, Arthur thinks that this is a spirit bent on revenge or malintent, and gets the group out of the mansion as fast as possible. Not helping is Lewis's explosion of rage. As his old friends drive away in fear, Lewis is unable to rest, and both he and the mansion disappears, which may or may not be a metaphor. But hey, Mystery Ben says he's going to continue the story, so who knows? This may be a happy end after all. Next on our list of awesome animated web videos that you should definitely see is the YouTube Copyright School. I'm kidding. I'll talk about that piece of shit later. But let's lighten up the mood a bit with Starter Squad. Honestly, I could at least do 5 of these videos for video game fan animations. Hell, I could do that for Pokemon or Minecraft alone. But today, we'll do the series about the 3 Kanto starters just having daily adventures. They make fun of the stupidity of NPCs, mock the conventions of the game, kill wild Caterpies, and do typical stuff you do in Pokemon games. As a more comedy-based series, there's not much I can talk about without spoiling the jokes. Oh, and your enjoyment out of this one probably depends on how much you can tolerate series that aren't finished yet. Which reminds me of something. Since we're on the subject of really funny animations based on video games that take a long fucking time to continue, there's Silent Hill 2, Chibi Edition. Honestly, this is probably one of the first internet animations that I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure that it predates YouTube, and as such, yeah, the animation is really out of date, even by internet standards. It is, however, really funny, as it parodies Silent Hill 2, turning something dark into something remarkably funny. But here's the thing, it ends with a to be continued, and the version on YouTube was uploaded 6 years ago. So I guess this one is kinda bittersweet. Personally, I believe that getting something really good that ends on a cliffhanger is worth it, even if it never continues, but it's not that way for everyone, I understand. So if you want to watch something else with a little bit of charm, there's Tarboy! Tarboy is basically animation for animation's sake. The people who wrote the story said they were just going off with whatever came to their mind, and it actually really makes a lot of sense for off-the-noggin storytelling. It's clever and charming, and it lends its way for a lot of interesting visuals. And once again, there may or may not be a moral here, I'm not entirely sure. But finally, we have Draw With Me, one of the most tear-jerking internet videos ever made. The story is remarkably simple and yet remarkably strong. This is especially surprising because there's no spoken dialogue. The story is that a boy and girl are seemingly in a void and separated from each other by a large plane of glass. That's pretty much it. What can you do with this concept? Well, the only way they can communicate is by drawing and writing on the glass with black pieces of chalk. We see their relationship start to blossom as they spend time drawing, but the glass barrier gets to be more and more of an annoyance. Eventually, the boy gets so frustrated that he starts beating on the glass, and nearly breaks through, before it repairs itself and cuts up his arm. He ends up okay, but he can't draw anymore. There's a really strangely heartwarming end to this story that I won't spoil here, but I will say that it's remarkably similar to the Ghost animation. I'd go on and give more animations here, but I'm hitting a time limit here, and needless to say, Valentine's Day is coming up soon, and I gotta deal with a special I really don't like. We'll do this again at some point, don't worry. Leave your suggestions of cool web animations in the comments. Please don't let them be your own. That's not cool.